All right, so I'm doing a midweek video, one because I got a request to look at Alibaba. Another one is because we had some price action in Bitcoin. So the last time I did a video, it was the start of the new week. We were right here on this 4. And I said what I really wanted to see was I wanted the CMF to start, going up to kind of break these prior highs. And then also the RSI needed to go and break these prior highs. I mean, we've been kind of up here on this upper, over bought area for a while, since the 30th, so almost a month now. And whenever I did that video, I said we wicked a green number of a prior green number above the 9. What I really want is I want a green number above a prior green, closing above a prior green number above the 9. And I've said that multiple times. So kind of like what we had here, right? We had it go above, and then we had the the retest. This finally closed. That went bullish to another 9. Same thing here. Pull back. We really need a green number to close above a prior green number. That's what I'd like to see. The CMF also here was kind of trending up. We're getting some bearish divergence here. This RSI needs to turn up. I mean, we can get a decrease in RSI with an increasing price. Same thing with the CMF, but that just says that we're getting major divergence and that we're probably going to have a larger pullback. So what we're seeing here is consolidation. With a weakening CMF, I'd like for that to go up. The 4-hour is kind of starting to trend maybe a little bit up, but kind of this is just trending with price. Same thing with RSI. We can look at our on-balance volume real quick. On-balance volume so that's trending up a little bit more. So that's a bullish kind of more. The on-balance volume is saying that we're getting a little bit more bullish action with that, but I have my CMF and RSI saying something else. Let's see what we have. This is kind of flat with price. It did step down, so that's kind of maybe really neutral. We can look at, let's look at our Ichimoku cloud. So where are we at on that? So I guess we're finding some support right here. I mean, our Ichimoku cloud is green. Oh, so we've broken through the bearish part of the Ichimoku cloud on the daily. We'll see what happens with this cross, because sometimes price does like to go into the cross, which I thought was going to happen here. I thought we would go up into the cross here, but let's look what the funding rate was. Funding rate was negative. We can look at our CMF and kind of cross correlate. We had rising CMF, but then we found weakness here, right? That's when it really lost. That's when we started to go down. So that's just saying that we're out of the cloud. We'll see what happens with this twist. We did get the retest of the 9, so I cleared that out. Which I said could probably happen. I said we could get some consolidation here, but I also did say that I thought once we wicked above 50,000, because people were saying, oh, 50,000 was a psychological resistance, but it wasn't psychological resistance here. I mean, we went 50,000. Let's see. We went 50,000 here, and then we were above almost to 60,000 within like, what, 4 days, 5 days? Within 5 days, we were almost at 60,000. We had 58, 4. Then we had a larger pullback. But now, was it psychological support? I mean, people were going to claim that. We did wick. Maybe it kind of was. Not so much here. Maybe it was here a little bit. But that was almost like this was a cup and handle, right? And I did highlight it there. And I did say that we did hit that target, right? Where's it at? I know I drew it in. Right there. Boom. And then we hit the target. Where's that trend line at? What was I drawing here? I think I was drawing. Where's my target? Maybe I didn't draw it in. I can draw it in now. So target would have been somewhere around there. Break. Pretty much hit it. The target was 28,721, so that was a good cup and handle, or inverted cup and handle, but we hit that target. But getting back to what I was saying is as a psychological support or resistance. It wasn't resistance that first time around. Maybe it was a little bit of support, but not really. So I did say once it wicked, I thought we would get up to this 52, like 53 area quickly. I mean, we had a pullback. The metrics were kind of going against me on that. I thought we would get a little bit more of a surge and then come back and retest the 9, maybe from 53 and then pull back from there and come back to the 9 for like a, 8 to 10% drop and retest the 9. But we ended up getting a retest sooner than later, which is better because we can get some bullish movement and then hit this area. But I still think we're going to hit this target, this 55 area, and then we'll start to see what happens there for the next move because people actually bought this rise. The markets went, the funding rate went positive, which meant that they were the futures, the funding rates were basically agreeing with the movement that that we were going to get higher prices, right? Because this is our like contrarian indicator. Whenever it's positive, we're looking for a pullback. Whenever it's negative, we're looking for a run up. So yeah, so it's gone negative again back on the daily. On the weekly, I think it actually flipped positive for a little while, but now it's kind of pretty neutral. We can see on the hourly that it went heavily positive, and then we got the pullback. So, but overall, if you would have looked for a buy, if you would have looking for a buy on a run up, say, a little bit of, because this was a reversal candle, you could have put a buy in at, this is at 47,953. You could have rounded it up and say 48. You would have got filled. Yeah, we went as low as 47.6, but pertaining to, if you say that's the dip until we go up, we went a little bit farther. You would have got it within 2%, which whenever you're buying the dip, I mean, that's pretty good, right? If this is in fact the dip, our CMF is not moving quite in our favor. This needs to start turning. It's kind of floating around neutral area on the 4-hour and on the hourly. It's kind of, again, really neutral. It's not showing big divergences or anything. Are there any familiar patterns that we can see here? Not really, other than a channel that's between 47 and say 50,000. Yeah, about. So a 3,000 move once that breaks out, which will put us right here at this target. Anything else? Any pennants or flags or cup and handles or head and shoulders? You can maybe argue for one here on the 4-hour. Not so much. I don't see anything that stands out. And on the daily, just consolidation, which is good, which is okay. I'm happy with that. So let's go over, because I said we had a request for Alibaba. And so yeah, so let's go to the 4-hour because we had, I'll pull up the basic ones. I'll pull up what I use basically. I'll pull up my RSI and I'll pull up my CMF. So we had an RSI that was severely oversold. The most oversold I think it has been in a very long time, right? So the most oversold it has been since December of 2020. You had a CMF that was increasing with a reversal candle. So you could have entered the position there, and your target could have been the bottom of this 9 because there's high probability of this getting retested. So 73. So if you would have bought, say, let's say we would have bought here on this reversal candle, your return could have been, 8%. Not killing it, but hey, there's an entry and then there's an exit. So you could have went, and look, we found resistance there. This CMF is still starting to trend up, but overall, Alibaba doesn't look great. Did we hit the 9 on the daily? No, we didn't. So maybe we get another push tomorrow around the 72, 73 area. There is going to be resistance here at 200. Yeah, right around 200 will probably be our next resistance. I think on the weekly you're also hitting a 9. So you do have a 9, and if I want to count what my potential 1 to 4 candle correction would be, or little reversal until potential more downside, I would count 1 here. So I start from here, say this is the close. I'd go 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So somewhere around the upper part of this. So 80, say around $85. Does anything else there give me argument for that? This is at 215. Not so much. Maybe the slower wick, somewhere around there. Is there an hourly that's Yeah, there's a gap here. And that would fill in the gap, but I'm not going to trade off. So I'm saying say 185, right? So if we hit this area again, I think maybe 185 might be another area of interest. I can pull up Ichimoku clouds and see. That's 178. This one's probably 178, 184, somewhere around there. I mean, I like to use these as areas of support and resistance. You can develop zones weekly. Oof, this is bad. Where's the Bollinger Bands? Not the width. Bollinger Bands. I didn't mean to close T sequential. You're outside of it. Yeah, potential. I mean, yeah, there's a potential bounce, but I think the trade is already over if you're looking for a short-term trade. Because overall, this doesn't look great. Because if I look at my moving averages, they are definitely overall trending down. They would have gotten you out a long time ago, probably somewhere around December. I'm just going over this real quick because I had a question as far as if there was an entry. Overall, I think that these nines, they're proven to be areas of retest. So we could get 1 to 4 weeks of some good price action and maybe up to 185. But then it's likely, especially with this, let's see with the CMF, the way the CMF, if it doesn't break out above this 0.17, and there is bullish divergence here with price going down, but this could be just, like I said, a month of recovery and then potentially lower. I know there's Alibaba that's a Chinese company. I know there's a lot of, is Alibaba a Chinese company? I think they are. Let's see. I think Alibaba is a Chinese company. Let's see. Alibaba is... I probably should know this, but I don't really trade Alibaba, so... Yeah, headquarters. Oh, they have a Cayman Islands, but that's probably just a shell company. So that they can be listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Yeah, they're a Chinese company. So I know that there's a lot of political movement around Chinese companies on U.S. exchanges. So some of this could be this negative price action could be fueled by that. And actually, if you go on the Best Business Show, which is a show that Anthony Pompliano has on YouTube, I think today they were actually talking about this particular instance where Chinese companies, the government is they're trying to push some sort of regular. I didn't stay up on it, but all this negative price action could be due to this sort of regulation and this confusion as to what's going to go on and how they're going to determine if some companies are still going to be able to be listed on American exchanges. So that could be what fuels this, because they had another stock. It was Didi, and I know right here, the government came in, and then this is so far down. This has been crushed. I think this is like a ride-sharing company or something like that. It's already down 55%. I could be wrong on the ride sharing, but and then I think the example that they had talked about was Tencent. How do I spell that? Yeah, I think Tencent. Yeah, so this is also down. So this is a Chinese company. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty with those companies, and they were talking about that they could have some headwinds. But this could also be a potential, if they get clarity, this could also be a potential time to possibly buy these companies because they're on sale. And then once the clarity's cleared up, then you can go ahead and they'll return to potentially previous all-time highs, if not higher. But if I'm using this indicator, this triple MA, I'm waiting, right? Because this is down. What's my RSI look like? My CMF is recovering. My RSI is probably the most it's oversold it's ever been. I think the daily, yeah, it was the most. It's the most it's the most oversold it's ever been. But this doesn't mean that it's going to go up now. This could just mean we're taking a break of the selling. Buyers that come in that might not know what's going on in China retail, because retail does feel a lot of this now with all the ease of access for trading. Yeah, it's the lowest it's ever been in historically, ever. That's the most oversold it's ever been according to the RSI ever. So yeah, maybe this was a good potential to buy. Take your 5 to 8% depending on where you entered, because that was that trade, and then move on and just wait. Because these moving averages will eventually start to bottom out. Yeah, you won't catch the bottom, but this will decrease your risk, because there is a 9 that's down here that wasn't retested. It's at 100, but we broke above the previous all-time high. So maybe this bottom right here at 129, which would be from where we're at now, which would still be more, that'd be more 20 more percent down. You know, that wouldn't give you an all-in entry, but your average entry would be much lower than where price is now, probably. And then you would have a multi-year uptrend, right? This one right here, whenever it finally broke, you had how many weeks? So it would have told you to go all in. We had a consolidation of the 9. Just say here, I'm going to pick this one. And you had a multi-year uptrend of nothing but really good gains. Well, not multi-year, 36 weeks. But still, that's amazing, right? So in 36 weeks, less than a year, you would have had potential for like 70%. That's really good. So always better to wait. You can use this once these moving averages start to bottom out, converge, and then you can start to enter back in, and then potentially get. This could be like 100. This could be a 100% to 300% return from where the prices are now. So yeah, so that was a trade. I think the trade for Alibaba on the recovery is already done. It would have gotten this, though, if you would, the way you trade the triple MA, you would have already gotten out. So just time to wait. And you could do more research on your own. I don't really necessarily trade a lot of Chinese companies, so that's a part of the market maybe I'm not up to date with, but I can always track these later. And it looks like I have weeks to make my entries, because all of these companies are down tremendously. So, so I think that's it. Went over the Bitcoin, went over this request, and I think that's it. And thanks for watching.